Hey y'all, so excuse me, I wanted to share a quick observation before I go into the gym. Anyway, anything to avoid going to the gym, but I think this is an observation that somebody might need to hear, or it might help somebody. So I keep noticing, obviously I'm in these divorce over 50 streets, and when you talk about your situation, right, when you talk about surviving a process that you thought was going to kill you, which was the process of healing through a divorce, was hard as hell, right? And when you come out looking like you ain't been through that thing, people like to talk about coming out the other end and not smelling like smoke, right? You don't look like what you've been through. But I think when that happens, right, because I obviously don't look like what I've been through. Unless you look at that last video, you will see that I used to look like what I was going through. That thing had me on the ropes, right? But when you come out the other end, I think it's so easy for people to look at the progress and then start to judge your decision, right? I think it's easy for people to say, well, what's happening? Why aren't people fighting for marriages? A lot of us fought. A lot of us fought hard. A lot of us fought for years, many years, where all of these people who are now proponents of marriage and staying together were nowhere to be found. Nobody was talking about the root causes, right? People aren't really looking at the root causes. As a student of people, right? Like for most of you, I used to be a licensed therapist. I'm a certified coach. I've always been interested in people. I haven't, not that it means anything as it relates to this, but I do have a degree in psychology. So I'm talking about from the earliest stages, I've been interested in how people work, right? Not just the outcomes. And so what I find is a lot of these people who get on the internet and pontificate about divorce and what people should be doing and how it's ungodly and it's an attack again, they're not looking at the root causes. Like, how about you invest that energy, you invest that judgment, you invest that vitriol in helping people, men and women, to build strong marriages. Don't come in after the house done fell apart and say you should have kept living in that house. That house had a crappy foundation. The walls were moldy. There was sewage running through the laundry room. Like, don't come in then and say, well, you should stay there because you built that house. How about we start teaching people how to build relationship houses? A large part of my platform, I spend a lot of time talking to people about relationships, about marriage, about building strong foundations. And there are people who say, well, you're not qualified to do that. Because I went through a divorce? Because I went through a divorce? I think that makes me qualified in different ways. Aside from the fact that I also have a master's degree in social work. Like, I follow, there are things I can do for other people that I can't do for myself because objectivity, subjectivity. Some of y'all, I'm going over some of y'all's heads, especially the men that are going to come here and say some of these vile things like you do. But anyway, that was just my my word this morning, that before you judge somebody's situation or marriage or look at something as a trend, I don't know any 50-year-old woman who is leaving a 30-year relationship because it's effing trendy. The walls were falling down in the house. It was dilapidated. It was deemed unlivable. But you want us to live in these unlivable houses. How about instead you build a new house? So, anywho, that was my thought this morning. I'm sure I have plenty more, but I'll see y'all. I'm doing anything to avoid going in that building. It is 7:08. I'm going to the gym. I promise I am. I'm going to get in there. Anyway, y'all have a happy morning. Bye.